So my senior prom was one of the highlights of my high school years. And for what should have been for all the right reasons, ended up being for all the wrong reasons. But it's a time I'll never forget. I went with this girl that I liked in my class. I liked her, she liked me. I'm shy, she's shy. I don't know how we ended up going together. I know I eventually asked her, but we were so shy, I wouldn't be surprised if neither one of us went. But we went. And it ended up being her and I going together, and we went with my boy Justin and his date. I drove, I picked everybody up. We went, we had a great time. It was cool. My date and I both had a lot of fun. I believe we danced the whole night, but it was so long ago, I really don't remember. But I just remember having a lot of fun with her that night. Afterwards, we all went to Denny's, ate, chilled, kicked it, laughed, whatnot. Then we leave, go drop Justin's date off at home. And around the same time, my date's mom is calling her, blowing her phone up. Mind you, it's 3 o'clock in the morning and we're all 17, 18 years old. So we probably shouldn't have been out that late anyway, but it's prom night. So it's expected, right? So I take her home, and when we get there, her mom is standing outside waiting for her. So she gets out the car, she walks toward the house, and as she's walking toward the house, I can just hear her mom yelling at her. And I'm still sitting there in the car, and I don't move, and it's because my mom has just trained me, when you drop somebody off, you always make sure that they get in the house okay. So I'm sitting there, and as her mom's yelling at her, she gets closer, and then I see her mom lift her hand and hit her. And I don't think she hit her in the face, but I knew that she hit her. And for whatever reason, I don't know why, in my mind, I panicked. So in my panic, I took the car out of park, put it in reverse, slammed my foot on the gas to back up, and then attempted to put my foot on the brake again so I could put the car in drive, but my foot slipped and I hit the gas again and I backed up right into a tree. And I froze. Justin froze, and I'm like, oh my gosh, what just happened? And for a second I froze. I looked at Justin and he looked at me, and I just looked back, and then I quickly put the car in drive and then drove off. Mind you, she lived on a military base, so I know that when we pulled in, they saw that the car was not damaged. And when we were leaving, they had to be looking at me crazy, like, what the heck just happened? Like, what did he do to this car? And I just remember driving home and I was freaking out. I didn't know what I was going to do, how I was going to explain this to my mom. I was so freaked out about what happened that I didn't even go home that night. I knew if I went home, my mom was going to kill me. And I couldn't face her. I just couldn't face her in that moment. So I drove to a park that was near my house, and I just slept in the car. And Justin was a real one. He was a true ride or die that night because he stayed in the car with me. So I purposely waited for my dad to leave. And once I knew he was gone, then I drove home. I get there, I go inside, I see my mom, and I just remember breaking down. She's like, what's going on? I said, Mom, I'm so sorry, but I crashed your car. Here's where I messed up. I didn't tell my mom the truth. I lied to her and I told her, I said, Mom, there was a deer coming towards me and I panicked and I backed up into a pole, and that's what happened to your car. And just the distraught of my mom's face, like she started bawling, crying. She was like, my car, I can't believe this happened, da 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 da. Now I'm sure she was concerned for my well-being, but in that moment, she was crying more about the car than she was asking me if I was okay. But to her credit, it wasn't her fault anyway, and I was the one in the wrong because I didn't tell her the truth. It wasn't until I was 30 that I told my mom the truth. And the only reason why I told her the truth was because that I was getting married, and I knew that there was a chance that Justin might share that story at the wedding. And I could not face my mom dealing with it or finding out that way. So I told her like a month before, I said, Mom, I'm just letting you know, this is the truth. This is what really happened. And my mom, she wasn't upset, but she said, I always knew, she said, I had a feeling that is not what really happened. She said, I had a feeling, but I couldn't prove it. So I just took your word for it, but I knew it wasn't true. And we talked about it, she forgave me, and we moved forward. So that was my prom night, a night that I will never, ever forget.